"Tommy's in the water," screamed Linda Chin as her 8-year-old son slipped off the dock during a family picnic at Riverside Park, but Marcus Torres was already running toward the lake before anyone else had even turned to look. The park maintenance worker dropped his lawn equipment and sprinted across the grass with speed and purpose that seemed unusual for someone whose job involved cutting grass and cleaning restrooms, his trained eyes immediately assessing water conditions, victim location, and rescue approach with systematic precision that would prove essential in the next 60 seconds. "Stay back, I've got him," Marcus called to the panicking family as he entered the water with textbook rescue technique, moving through the lake with swimming efficiency that amazed witnesses who watched him reach the struggling child and implement rescue procedures that seemed far beyond typical park employee training. What the families enjoying their weekend picnic and the emergency responders rushing to the scene didn't know was that the man in the parks department uniform conducting a flawless water rescue was Petty Officer First Class Marcus Torres, retired, U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer who had spent 10 years jumping from helicopters into hurricane-force waters to save lives before choosing park maintenance as his way to serve his community while staying safely on dry land. Marcus Torres, 33 years old, had been working as a maintenance worker for the Riverside City Parks Department for 22 months and 14 days, maintaining the same methodical attention to safety awareness and emergency preparedness that had characterized his 10-year career as a U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer conducting water rescue operations in the most dangerous maritime conditions. Every morning at 6 a.m., he arrived wearing the standard parks uniform, carrying maintenance equipment and safety checklists that he reviewed with rescue-level thoroughness developed during years of life-or-death emergency response work. The parks department and regular visitors knew Marcus as the maintenance worker who seemed to anticipate safety problems before they occurred, who somehow kept every area of Riverside Park in perfect condition while maintaining constant awareness of visitor activities and potential hazards. He had reduced safety incidents at the park by 75% and earned recognition from both the city and local emergency services for exemplary safety performance and community service. What people didn't notice was Marcus's automatic risk assessment as he worked throughout the park, the way he positioned himself with clear views of water areas and playground equipment, the way he organized his maintenance duties with rescue-level precision that went beyond typical groundskeeping requirements. His approach to park safety was comprehensive and systematically sophisticated in ways that suggested training beyond normal parks and recreation education. Marcus had chosen park maintenance specifically because it allowed him to use safety and emergency response skills to serve families and children in peaceful, recreational contexts. After 10 years of Coast Guard rescue work that had required him to conduct water rescues in conditions where mistakes could mean death for both rescuers and victims. His Coast Guard career had begun in 2011 when he enlisted immediately after high school, initially planning to serve in engineering or communications roles. But when he scored exceptionally high on physical fitness and psychological evaluations, recruiters had suggested he consider rescue swimmer training, one of the Coast Guard's most demanding specialties that combined advanced swimming, emergency medicine, and helicopter rescue operations. Rescue swimmer training was among the most difficult programs the Coast Guard offered. Nearly 2 years of intensive instruction that included everything from advanced water rescue techniques to emergency medical training, helicopter operations, and survival procedures designed for conducting rescues in extreme weather conditions. Marcus had been one of only 8 candidates to complete his training cycle successfully, and one of even fewer to serve operational tours in high-activity rescue regions. Marcus's assignments had included rescue operations off the coasts of Alaska, Florida, and California, where he had conducted water rescues during hurricanes, maritime accidents, and emergency situations that required helicopter insertion into dangerous conditions. He had earned recognition for rescue excellence and life-saving performance that had contributed to more than 150 successful rescue operations. Over multiple operational tours, Marcus had participated in rescues that included everything from recreational boating accidents to commercial vessel emergencies, saving lives in conditions that range from calm seas to hurricane-force storms. But the psychological pressure of years spent in constant readiness for life-threatening emergencies, always knowing that rescue delays could mean death, had eventually become overwhelming. When Marcus completed his military service, he had been offered positions with civilian rescue organizations, emergency management agencies, and private companies that would have used his rescue expertise in water safety roles. But after years of high-stress rescue work, Marcus had chosen park maintenance because it allowed him to use safety awareness and emergency response skills to help families enjoy recreational activities rather than rescue them from life-threatening situations. Riverside Park served approximately 2,000 daily visitors during peak season, including families with children, recreational athletes, and community groups who used the park's lake, playground equipment, and picnic areas for outdoor activities. Marcus's maintenance responsibilities included all areas of the 50-acre park, with particular attention to water safety around the lake and playground security for children's activities. During his 22 months at Riverside Park, Marcus had developed comprehensive knowledge of visitor patterns, safety considerations, and emergency procedures that impressed both park management and local emergency services with its accuracy and practical utility for community protection. "Marcus," said Park Supervisor Janet Rodriguez during one of their regular safety meetings, "your incident prevention and emergency response capabilities are exceptional. You seem to identify potential problems before they become actual emergencies." "Mrs. Rodriguez, family safety is important to me. When people bring their children to the park for recreation, they should be able to focus on enjoying time together rather than worrying about accidents." What Janet didn't realize was that Marcus's approach to park safety was based on rescue principles he had learned for conducting Coast Guard operations: systematic hazard assessment, continuous environmental monitoring, and emergency response procedures that had been developed for much more dangerous and complex rescue situations. The afternoon when Marcus's background was revealed began with a family emergency that tested every aspect of his rescue swimmer training. The Chen family had been enjoying a picnic near the lake when 8-year-old Tommy wandered onto the fishing dock and slipped on wet wood, falling into water that was over his head. Tommy's fall occurred at 2:47 p.m. during peak park activity, with dozens of families nearby, but most adults focused on their own activities rather than monitoring the lake area. The child immediately began struggling in water that was too deep for him to stand, creating a life-threatening emergency that required immediate professional response. Marcus was mowing grass approximately 100 yards from the lake when he heard Linda Chen scream. His rescue swimmer training immediately activated. He assessed the emergency situation, identified the victim's location and condition, and began implementing rescue procedures that he had hoped never to use again in civilian life. Marcus's response to Tommy's drowning emergency was systematic and professional, based on techniques he had learned for conducting helicopter rescues in extreme conditions. He approached the water with optimal entry technique, moved through the lake with rescue swimming efficiency, and reached Tommy within 45 seconds of the initial emergency. "I've got you, buddy," Marcus said calmly to Tommy as he implemented rescue holds that secured the panicking child while maintaining his own safety and swimming capability. "Just relax and let me get you back to shore." Marcus's rescue technique was flawless. He maintained airway protection for Tommy while swimming efficiently toward shore, communicated reassurance that prevented additional panic, and delivered the child safely to his family within 2 minutes of the initial incident. Tommy was frightened but unharmed, having been in the water for less than 3 minutes and never losing consciousness. Marcus's immediate response had prevented what could have been a drowning fatality from becoming anything more than a scary experience for a child who had learned an important lesson about water safety. Thank you so much," Linda Chen said as she embraced her son, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know how you got to him so fast." "Mrs. Chen, I'm just glad Tommy is safe. He's a brave kid who stayed calm during a scary situation." But the emergency responders who had arrived at the scene recognized that Marcus's water rescue had demonstrated capabilities beyond typical park employee training. "Sir," said paramedic David Martinez as he checked Tommy's condition, "your rescue technique was exceptional. You performed textbook water rescue procedures with professional precision. What's your emergency response background?" Marcus hesitated, the way he always did when people asked about his rescue capabilities. "Some training in water safety and emergency response. I take park safety seriously." But Fire Captain Jennifer Walsh, who had extensive experience with water rescue operations, recognized that Marcus's performance suggested specialized training. "Sir, what you did was professional-level water rescue. Your entry technique, victim approach, and extraction procedures indicate advanced training. Are you certified in water rescue operations?" The conversation that followed revealed Marcus's Coast Guard experience and his reasons for choosing park maintenance over careers that would more obviously use his rescue swimmer expertise. "Captain Walsh, I spent 10 years as a Coast Guard rescue swimmer conducting water rescues and emergency operations. I retired and chose park maintenance because I wanted to use safety skills to help families enjoy recreation rather than rescue them from emergencies." Captain Walsh understood immediately why Marcus's rescue had been so professional and effective. Petty Officer Torres, Coast Guard rescue swimmer training is among the most demanding water rescue education available. Your expertise saved that child's life. The rescue incident that Marcus had responded to became the catalyst for conversations about how his Coast Guard training could benefit community safety and emergency preparedness throughout the park system. "Marcus," said Parks Director Robert Kim during a meeting the following week, "your response to the drowning emergency was extraordinary, and I've learned about your Coast Guard background. Would you consider expanding your role to include water safety coordination for all city parks?" Marcus was initially reluctant to take on responsibilities that reminded him of rescue operations, but the water safety position offered a compromise between using his expertise and maintaining the peaceful parks work that had been essential for his transition from Coast Guard service. "Mr. Kim, I chose park maintenance specifically to step away from emergency rescue work." "Marcus, this wouldn't be emergency response operations. We need someone to develop water safety programs and coordinate with emergency services to improve safety for families using our recreational facilities." Marcus accepted the position as Park's water safety coordinator while continuing his maintenance duties at Riverside Park. The combination allowed him to use his rescue swimmer expertise to improve family safety throughout the park system while maintaining the direct community service that provided meaning and satisfaction. Marcus's water safety programs for city parks emphasized practical prevention techniques that enhanced family recreation without creating fear or restricting access to water activities. His sessions taught parents, children, and park staff how to recognize water hazards while maintaining park environments that supported family enjoyment and outdoor recreation. "The goal," Marcus explained to park staff during one of his safety training sessions, "is creating water environments that are safe and enjoyable. Good water safety should enhance family recreation rather than limit it." Marcus's work with Parks water safety led to his developing protocols that were adopted by Parks departments throughout the state, improving recreational water safety for thousands of families who used public parks for outdoor activities. 6 months after the Tommy Chin rescue, Marcus received recognition from both the National Recreation and Park Association and the Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer Association for developing civilian water safety programs that applied rescue expertise to recreational facility management. But the recognition that meant the most to Marcus came from families who felt safer and more confident enjoying water activities at parks where his safety protocols had been implemented. "Marcus," said Linda Chen when she brought Tommy back to Riverside Park a month after the rescue, "Tommy wanted to come back and thank you again. He's been telling everyone about the park hero who saved him." "Mrs. Chin, I'm just glad Tommy is safe and that your family can continue enjoying the park. Water safety is about helping families have fun while staying secure." Marcus realized that Linda's gratitude reflected exactly the kind of meaningful work he had hoped to find after leaving Coast Guard service, using his rescue expertise to protect families while enabling them to enjoy recreational activities safely. A year after the rescue that revealed his background, Marcus had become the region's leading expert in recreational water safety and was regularly invited to speak at parks and recreation conferences and water safety events about applying rescue training to civilian recreational facility management. His presentation at the National Aquatic Safety Conference focused on the principle that had guided his approach to parks water safety. Rescue training provides systematic approaches to water safety that can dramatically improve recreational experiences when adapted appropriately for family-oriented facilities. 2 years after saving Tommy Chin, Marcus continued working at Riverside Park while also serving as water safety coordinator for the entire city park system and consultant for recreational facilities throughout the Southeast. His story was featured in Coast Guard publications as an example of how rescue skills could be applied to civilian recreation safety, inspiring other rescue swimmers to consider careers that used their expertise to benefit family recreation and community safety. Today, Marcus Torres continues working as maintenance worker and water safety coordinator at Riverside Park while also consulting with parks departments throughout the region. He still arrives every morning at 6 a.m., still maintains park facilities with systematic attention to safety, and still treats family recreation protection as a serious professional responsibility. But he also develops water safety protocols that protect children and families, trains park staff in emergency prevention techniques, and coordinates with emergency services to ensure that recreational facilities provide safe environments for community outdoor activities. The lake where Marcus rescued Tommy Chin displays a small sign that reads, "Swim safely, protected by community vigilance." Marcus requested that the recognition honor water safety rather than individual heroism. Marcus's story reminds us that Coast Guard rescue expertise doesn't diminish when applied to civilian recreation, it enhances. That rescue swimmer training can improve park safety just as effectively as it saves lives in maritime emergencies. That the same water rescue skills used for Coast Guard operations can be used to protect families and children enjoying recreational water activities. The next time you visit a public park with water features, remember Marcus Torres. Remember that the maintenance staff protecting your family's recreation might have rescue experience gained in conditions and situations you can't imagine. Remember that they might have chosen parks work not because they lack other qualifications, but because they've found meaningful ways to apply extraordinary skills to serve families enjoying outdoor recreation. Sometimes the most important rescues happen not in hurricane-force seas or Coast Guard operations, but in city park lakes where former rescue swimmers choose to use their expertise to ensure that children can safely enjoy water activities with their families. Sometimes the greatest rescue expertise belongs to people maintaining parks rather than jumping from helicopters, people who've chosen to apply Coast Guard training to civilian recreation safety, ensuring that the skills developed for maritime rescue can be used to protect families during peaceful outdoor activities. We need to recognize and appreciate the skilled rescue professionals among us who've chosen to serve quietly, especially those whose previous service required saving lives in dangerous waters so that families could safely enjoy recreational activities in peaceful environments. Because true rescue expertise doesn't disappear when Coast Guard service ends, it just finds new applications. And sometimes the most valuable rescue training involves not maritime emergencies or helicopter operations, but recreational safety that ensures the systematic vigilance developed for Coast Guard rescue can be used to protect families and children enjoying the outdoor activities that strengthen communities and create lifelong memories.